Hello, fellow armchair generals and War Thunder enthusiasts, and maybe current World of Warships players. How you doing? This is Gamer1745, and we're looking primarily at War Thunder's new heavy ships coming out here in this video. That is an Arado seaplane on top of there. I forget the exact number, the model number there. Doesn't do anything, just looks pretty. Okay, we are in the dev server here, and this is for the new power, I think is what it's called, or whatever the new update is. So the dev server is, of course, the developer server. Currently, as I'm playing it, it is open. You can see the almost 9 million golden eagles. Those are only good on this dev server, only while this is open. It doesn't transfer to reality, if you will. It just allowed me to, we'll take a look at it here, quickly burn my way through just simply by using golden eagles to get up to some of the new heavy ships here. So this is going to be a quick look here at what's changing. This is a preview, subject to change. Probably not major changes in here. I don't know if there's going to be new or more new vessels added to it that aren't already here. But so we will now have Blue Water Fleet, so you can start here with a reserve. You do not have to grind through at all. And playing Blue Water Fleet, my understanding is you don't get any grinding points to help with the coastal fleet, as they're calling it here. But these do play in the same, you can have them in the same lineup, and they can play in the same battles. So your motor torpedo boats can rush out and launch torpedoes at your big ships. So it's sort of like, and of course you can have air battles, or aircraft within the, we have a new, like you see, image in progress. This is a new interceptor strike fighter that's not in the standard game. I really haven't looked through the naval stuff. But so yeah, all these eagles is just to allow me to, instead of have to grind my way through, I just got these vessels up to full strength. So I was hoping France would be with a naval fleet. It is not yet. Again, I was saying hope. Here's a quick look. You can always pause this if you're looking at this later. The new few of the vessels are going away as premiums to get. If you have them here, you can keep them. But you can see through here what the U.S. Blue Water Fleet will look like. We can quickly, let's choose a crew, just dump it there. On this lineup here. The U.S. top tier, basically pre-World War I believe. I think these would be categorized as dreadnoughts. And we can look at the USSRs. Sorry. Back here, the coastal fleet will be this. I'm so glad they're doing this. This is what I suggested after feedback from some of big fans of War Thunder tank battles and such. Well, why are you playing World of Warships? Well, they wanted to play the big ships, one, and they didn't have them in the game at all, and two, they didn't want to have to grind through the coastal fleet. So you still have that or this. So again, you can start there. USSR, you can start here. If you already have some things, I mean, they just gave you these to start out to show off. Their coastal fleet here. Really well developed. Britain's coastal fleet, again, not much is changing there. Maybe a few things added. But you can again start off here with the Clemson, which this version of Clemson really sucks for the game. And you have the Colossus and the Dreadnought. The very first Dreadnought was named Dreadnought, of course. And Japan, Japan's coastal fleet sucks. Because fortunately, they do these things based off of historically, and Japan, until very late in the war, World War II, did not do small attack vessels. These are sort of mostly emergency late war, oh shit, we need to do something. So they generally sucked. They just do. So all this mostly sucks. And so it was really pain trying to grind through. But so we start out now with reserve, and you can go through the Japanese. So you get into the good destroyers and whatnot for World War II. Japan looks pretty good. And once we get to bigger and bigger battleships, there'll be some really cool stuff, including the Yamato, I presume, eventually. But we do have the Italian Blue Water Fleet, not as well developed as we can see in many of the other nations. They just haven't put in enough effort, in my opinion. Again, this is a preview. We see a new premium here to sort of start you off with, which they temporarily given me for this server. I don't know if later we'll take a look at some of these things. Compare this to the, German, it's just not as good. But during World War II, Italy's Navy was the most advanced armed forces of Italy, or the most modern, shall we say. And so there's a lot you can do here with Italy. And there's actually, but a lot you can do with France. I think one of the main reasons they weren't in before is they also had little or no. They had some torpedo boats, I believe. Especially if we go back to like pre-World War One. And torpedo boats were something around slightly before destroyers, but they're not like the little motor torpedo boats we think like PT-109 or whatever. But a lot of that stuff they did not have during World War II, so that's why I don't think they did a naval focus tree. But now that you can just do a blue water fleet if they want to, France, there is a lot of options, including big battleships, the Richelieu and such like that. So yeah, that is a quick look at the new trees for coastal and blue water fleets. Now I'm going to take a few of these out here. I have the SMS Westfalen here. I am not a big ship enthusiast, and I've not gone in and looked these up. And the Helgoland. Here we can see again, these are sort of in their World War I type versions, so they'll have little or no. And that two very weaknesses in these vessels. Two of them, and there's probably more, but two very big ones. One, both of these at least, and these did not survive through the peace process, shall we say, of World War One, have little or no anti-aircraft. So that is a massive weakness, because we will be facing aircraft in the game. And two, they're slow in comparison to most World War II vessels. Now they have a fair amount of smaller guns around the sides of them, and those will be normally on AI control, and so they can probably shoot up motor torpedo boats as they sort of kind of come close. But yeah, that's their two biggest weaknesses. I presume, again, a presumption, we'll see something like the Schleswig-Holstein, which did survive into World War II, and I think survived the war. That might be, an upgraded with some anti-aircraft. Put it in its like 1939 or 40 or whatever configuration with a few more AA guns. And it's already been in the game. I just really, except for I think an earlier dev server, really haven't played. But I wanted to have this here as a comparison. The Graf Spee, which has, what are these? Well, we can, used to inches, but 228 millimeter main guns on them. Basically the a light battleship type guns. So that is a quick look at the tree. We're going to now play a few missions.